Tony's like all classy and rich now. Tony grew up as a piece of shit.
Yeah.
An actual piece of shit. And he was a shady mother doing
Rich, yes.
shit.
Do you read Tony as classy? Is that the thing? I mean, like, it's not even a dig. I just like, it's like, what is he like? Pinkies out? Like espresso? Like, what?
This is yardless behavior, but.
Yeah, your homeless don't do shit. They just put up the bucket and just sit there like a fool.
Yeah, and then Tony picks their name out of it and they come up and get a...
It's true.
Tony Hinchcliffe keeping the homeless on stage for 20 years.
That's it.
So 8 months ago, Tony Hinchcliffe appeared on the second episode of Story Wars, giving the show that early boost that it needed since, back then when it happened, it was about 3 months after Tony's massively successful set at the roast of Tom Brady. And on top of that, he was also doing multiple shows at Madison Square Garden. Now, to be fair, that episode was actually solid, it was good, and it was mainly because Tony was trying, his energy was good, and he was making good jokes. However, that was way before his massive new deal with Netflix and that infamous Puerto Rico joke, which I'm pretty sure made him like one of the most famous comedians in the world for a brief moment. But now, fast forward to a few weeks ago, and he's back on the same show, but this time, it was one of the worst performances I've seen from a comedian in a very long time because the usual sharp, quick Tony was nowhere to be found, and instead, we basically got to witness Tony's struggle to keep up with everyone else the whole night. It was pretty bad. Now, some people might say that he was drunk and simply doing them a favor by showing up and being there. But if that's the case, even if that was the case, I would argue that's even worse because at that point, he's basically doing kind of what Daniel Rollins did to him a while back, basically showing up to a smaller show, trashed, and thinking that him just being there was good enough for everyone else. It's pretty wild. And so in this video, we'll go over Tony's recent appearance on Story Wars and see how bad it actually was. But also, I recommend you go watch the full episode, check out their channel. But for now, let's get started.
The story belonged to Lewis.
Damn.
Fucking shit. Shit.
Oh, how ironic that I will be reading Shape of a Boy tonight. For I love nothing more than the shape of a boy.
Then we started ironing out the concept. What the would a Story Wars be? Oh.
You need to start ironing out the tablecloths. These things
I know.
deeply folded. Let me tell you, as a guy that's built a wildly successful weekly show, a simple $10 steamer, and you have one of these unable to read doofuses just steam out the thing before, and it looks 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Tony, that's why you're playing Madison Square Garden and we're playing the small room of the stand.
What's going on downstairs? A non-profit show.
a non-profit douchebag in
Extravaganza.
a comedy party.
There's a,
For like-
there's a non-profitable show happening upstairs.
I love the fact that you guys finally took my advice and started a show with a format and tables and red microphones and buckets. This is very exciting, really smart.
Wow, did
When
not
does
think
the
about the
cat
buckets.
make a noise exactly?
If you take too long to tell your story, then... But
Then we're
you
going to bring out the angry West Hollywood Bear.
No,
This show ain't gonna be picked up
I
by
see the mouse.
Netflix anytime soon.
I remember Kill Tony was like this 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember. You're
We have a
building
lot
it
of
up.
catching
You're
up to do.
learning and working out the kinks. By the time you guys are...
Look, we got the buckets and the red microphones.
You guys have definitely been tricked. That story belongs to Tony Hinchcliffe.
What did you expect? Me to lose?
Clean and sweep Tony Hinchcliffe story number 1. What did you do with this dog, Tony?
It was the tiniest apartment.
Where's the
The
dog?
girlfriend was the one that wanted the dog.
She has it now?
Yep, the dog lives a prosperous, unbelievable life. It actually lives in Chicago now. Little Pepper.
It's the youngest rising puppy.
One of the fastest rising.
I guess it's like 14 or 15 now.
Jesus Christ.
I'm an old man.
Now, right away, you can tell there's a massive difference in Tony's attitude when you compare it to the first time that he was on the show, because right away, he begins by actually taking shots at the show, at the production, and all that stuff, which is fair. Everyone has done that. But this time, because the jokes didn't land and they were not that funny, you know, it felt more like an actual dig at the host and at the show instead of just playful roasting, which is weird. But, you know, maybe it is because now Tony sees the show actually growing into a solid original concept. And now all of the sudden things, or believes that he's the one that invented the whole format and that he is the reason why his own show is massively successful, which, as we all know, that's not true. It's because of Joe Rogan. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if Joe appeared on Story Wars once every 3 months and the show was shot at the Mothership, it would be as big, if not bigger, than Kill Tony. And so it is a weird angle for Tony to take, but it does make sense because now thinking about it, out of all the comics on stage, on that show, on that episode, Tony is a comedian that has put out the least amount of stand-up comedy in the past couple of years when it comes to actual stand-up material. But also, technically, Tony is the only comedian up there with no comedy special at all. I mean, he did have that one comedy special on Netflix, One Shot, which up until recently was completely deleted from the entire internet until one of you savages actually found it and put it up on YouTube, which was wild. But it was crazy to see how bad that special was. And it's even crazier to see how Tony acts when he knows he has that special under his belt. It's almost like he feels the need to constantly remind everyone of how rich and successful he is and that he has a deal with Netflix. And so this way, if you don't like him or think he's not funny, then maybe you are the problem. But in this case, it absolutely did not work because the whole time he was getting crushed. I mean, sure, he did get some laughs here and there, but whenever he told a bad joke, the audience was letting him know. It was pretty wild. I mean, at some point, he bombed so bad that he actually had to explain his own joke to the audience. It was absolutely brutal.
That dog's about to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dog's not what you're picturing in your head. It's got like a milky eye now, and like, it's got one of those like half wheelbarrows that its back legs are in.
It's on its last thought, like, I just wish I had a yard.
Yeah, this dog got duped.
Let me die.
Yeah, it did.
They showed a picture of the yard to the dog. He's all happy, dude.
Just starts pissing all over itself. Doesn't know why it loves the picture of the yard so much.
Some
never seen a yard, never saw a
fucked up
park.
apartment.
It's like a kidnapping situation. We made sure at that point to torture the dog permanently. No
Nice.
sunlight. No, I'm kidding. Jesus, God.
Alex, where are our points at?
You know, when people don't laugh, that means that they truly think it's believable what you just said. So I'm like, yeah, I tortured my dog for 18 years. Everybody's like, okay, next story.
Tony Hinchcliffe, evil overlord who tortures dogs.
Yeah, it remained a puppy forever.
It's true. Like Jim Morrison, dude. Forever young.
Alex, where are our points at? Nobody thought it was Tony's story.
Clean sweep. I always pictured Tony having a big apartment.
No, God, no. Especially then.
So dramatic.
Story number 2. Me and a friend set up a donation bucket for the homeless. We used the money to buy concert tickets.
All right.
Only like a really badass, real ass dude would do something like this.
This is the type of thing a really good-looking guy in a baseball cap with a mustache would do. A class act.
I can
A
see this
great
being-
father.
I could see this being Tony Hinchcliffe, though. Tony's like all classy and rich now. Tony grew up as a piece of shit.
Yeah.
An actual piece of shit. And he was a shady motherfucker doing
Rich,
grimy
yes.
shit.
Do you read Tony as classy? Is that the thing? I mean, like, it's not even a dig. I just like, it's like, what is he like? Pinkies out? Like espresso? Like, what?
This is yardless behavior, but
Now, when I first saw that, I was shocked that Joe Rogan himself didn't run up on stage and physically drag Tony out of the club because, according to Tim Dillon, Joe Rogan absolutely hates it when comedians bomb at the Mothership.
I bring my opener to do a Tim Dillon and Friends show. Young guy from New York. He goes up. He's having a rough set. I'm sitting on the balcony watching him. I'm praying. I'm going, I hope no one is watching this. I feel an energy behind me. Rogan is standing there watching him bomb like this. And then we walk back in the green room. Rogan goes, he's bombing, man. He can't be here. And I go, I know. I'm getting him off right now. And I literally, I run at him immediate, and I go, light him now. He gets like, what's going on? I go, light him now. He got off. He goes, yeah, it was a little tough. You're still smiling. I go, no. Here's the thing. I go, you got to go right now. He goes, what do you mean? My bag's in the green room. I go, yeah. You got to get out of this club right now.
Joe's security is going to kill you.
Joe is unhappy, and it looks really bad for me. Get the out. I've worked years.
Now, very quick, this whole thing is really interesting because could you imagine being a stand-up comedian performing at the Mothership and then seeing Joe Rogan in the back of the room judging your sets and knowing that it's up to him if you will continue performing at the Mothership? Of course, it is his club, but keep in mind that at some point in the past, Joe Rogan actually thought that Brendan Schaub's stand-up comedy was good. He also thought or still thinks that David Lucas is one of the best roasters at the moment, and his own comedy special, Joe's Special, was trash. He's also famously known for missing a lot of jokes on his own podcast, and so it is interesting that Joe Rogan will be the one responsible for this new wave of Mothership comedians coming out of his club. It's pretty wild. But okay, now back to Tony. And look, I guess you could cut him some slack because, yeah, comedians don't have to be funny 24/7 every minute of their life, but when it comes to Tony, because he has been walking around showing off, talking about how great he is and how successful and rich he is, you know, for him to do all that talking and then for him to sit down with other comics and then bomb, you know, at that point, people will absolutely notice. And funny enough, him explaining his own joke after bombing kind of reminded me of his Puerto Rico joke because back then it was so funny seeing Joe Rogan and Tony every week repeating the same story, trying to paint the narrative that the reason why he told that joke wasn't because he hated Puerto Rico, and instead it was because of his passion for the environment, because he was doing some research and then found out about the Great Garbage Patch. It's absolutely insane and stupid. And so according to Tony, if you thought the joke was bad, it was simply because you didn't know that he cared about the environment. And in this case, it was very similar because it wasn't that he told a bad joke and it sucked, and instead it was that the entire audience took him way too seriously. It's insane because it would make sense, except that he forgot that he was up there with other comics who didn't laugh at all. But then as the show went on, it did feel like the comics started to realize that Tony was simply being an asshole and not even trying at all. And so they slowly started to turn on him and making fun of him. And it was amazing to watch because, as we all know, because of his massive success and his close relationship with Rogan, he does get kind of shielded from actual criticism, from harsh criticism and real jokes. And so, you know, whenever it does happen, it's very fun to watch.
Ari, you've really never been to any concert ever?
I went to one. It was a Marilyn Manson concert.
How'd you get the money for those tickets?
My sister bought them.
Was your
By stealing from the homeless? Your sister?
A donation bucket in Estonia wouldn't work, guys.
I would assume that.
Yeah.
Or it would just be filled with shit you wouldn't want, like half a sandwich or like
Yeah, they do that here. That
rocks,
guys
a
just
big rock,
A rock.
but a big one.
Yeah, your homeless don't do shit. They just put up the bucket and just sit there like a fucking fool.
Yeah, and then Tony picks their name out of it and they come up and get a...
It's true.
Tony Hinchcliffe keeping the homeless on stage for 20 years.
That's it. That's how it happens. I did notice a guy. I was walking here yesterday and there was a homeless guy that had a camera, really, 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 really nice camera. And it said, get your picture taken, you know, real quick, professionally, $5 or $10 or whatever. But he's like laying there like totally like, right, like total homeless, looks homeless, but with a great camera.
Damn.
And I took his camera. No, I'm kidding. But I thought to myself, it's great when they contribute in some way.
Yeah, they should. Like you go to Spain, they're all dancing on a slack line, dressed as Superman.
Ooh,
Yeah, they do shit. Play a
it's
guitar.
impressive. Slackline
Here-
stuff.
Here is just a shitty sign.
I'm going with Lewis.
And look, you can tell that after that joke, that's when Tony started to panic because he realized that he wasn't doing as well as everyone else. And it got so bad that he actually went into a bit about a homeless guy that wasn't even that funny, but he just randomly started doing a bit. In my opinion, I feel like that's a clear sign of a comedian panicking and drowning and not really knowing what to say. And so they resort to just doing a bit. It was pretty fun to watch. The problem wasn't that Tony was drunk, and instead it was his attitude, because not only was he unprepared and not even trying, but he was actually getting mad when Luis J. Gomez was outclassing him and making fun of him instead of, actually going along with the bits like a real comic would. It's almost like he forgot that he was a comedian and then took the joke very seriously, which is very interesting. And it does make sense. I mean, think about it. Tony being as competitive as he is, there's no way that Luis getting that massive pop, that reaction from the crowd, did not absolutely crush Tony inside. And if you rewatch it and pay close attention, you can actually see Tony's real reaction to getting brutally roasted, and it's nothing like his over-the-top laughs whenever David Lucas is calling him gay or whatever on his own show. And so it was a complete masterpiece. And shout out to Luis for doing that. It was perfect timing. And once again, to those who might think that Tony was simply drunk and so it doesn't count, then how do you explain someone like Shane Gillis crushing it while doing Kill Tony and also drinking? I mean, this shouldn't even be an argument, because if you're a comedian that got way too drunk to do comedy, then you deserve all the criticism and the hate. It would be like if a musician showed up to a show that they were invited to, completely wasted and trashed, and then bombed. But in this case, to me, it did seem like Luis started to realize that the crowd was actually on his side whenever he was taking shots at Tony, and so he decided to double down. And then took a massive shot, which was very clever for so many reasons. We'll talk about it in a second. But pay close attention to how Tony reacts to what Luis says, which is, you can tell that he was bothered by what Luis said. It was insane.
And in the lead with 8 points, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Jesus. When it rains, it pours. Sometimes life just giveth and giveth and giveth. I have no trouble sleeping at night at all.
Tony cannot miss, except for Drew Nickens. But besides that choice...
Oh, come on. He's a special case. He does a spot every few months.
No, Drew rules. I love him.
That is true. Tony doesn't miss. I went to Vegas with this guy. Dude, I lost $2,000 in 10 minutes. First time in a casino, by the way. I lost $2,000. This guy before we took the flight was already boarding. In Vegas they have the machines, the slot machines next to the gate. We both put in $500. I lose mine, 3 pulls, gone. This guy, 2 pulls, 1,200, go straight on the flight.
But that's because Tony.
And he doesn't even.
I watched him win like $30,000 in 40 seconds.
That's because Tony was pulling the handle.
What's important is the Netflix deal. I mean, it's unprecedented.
He has a deal with the devil.
Yeah. Part of my deal with the devil is that's actually from my bedroom. The question mark with the devil horns.
Yeah.
The question mark is his sexuality.
Yes. Yes. And it's only for ye all to question, because when I go home at night, I can't even open my door. I have a special dildo detector in which you have to sit on a, and then it goes, "Welcome home, sir."
Yeah. A retina scan? A retina scan's for broke.
Yeah.
You do an internal anal scan. Second chamber colon scan. That's security. You can't cartwheel through that, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Suck my.
Interior anal scan.
And once again, that was the chef's kiss moment of the episode, because as you know, Tony loves taking credit and hyping up the comics that he's chosen, and even talks about them as if they're the greatest of all time. And at some point even said that they actually put out more comedy than the actual legends, which is absolutely delusional. And so once again, Luis dropping that line was perfect timing. But also, as you know, the Kill Tony fan base is absolutely massive, and they're very supportive when it comes to giving new comedians that Tony likes a chance. And well, some time ago, Drew appeared on an episode of Kill Tony and did his minutes, and Although, to me, in my opinion, and nothing against Drew, his stand-up was absolutely bad. It was trash. Tony still made him a regular, and if anything, I blame Tony for this because we've said this before, but I think Tony actually harms a lot of potential comedians by setting up these wild expectations that are almost impossible to do. I mean, I don't think Tony himself could actually come up with a good minute every single week. And so when it comes to Drew, eventually, he became disliked within the Kill Tony community, and he hasn't been back ever since. Now, I could be wrong. I haven't seen every episode of Kill Tony recently, but also, in my opinion, I feel like that's a perfect example of the Rogan Sphere effect in action because, funny enough, for the past 6 or 8 months, whenever I would say that Kill Tony was overrated, a lot of people would get mad and disagree, even though they did agree that that Joe, Bert, Tom, Schultz, Brendan, Callan, they all sucked. They agreed, they all sucked. But when it came to Tony, he was completely untouchable. Everyone thought that he was the best because they loved Kill Tony, which is fair. Of course, I'm not saying the show sucks, obviously, but the point was that the only reason why the show completely blew up and is now massively successful is because of Joe Rogan, because, you know, Tony followed Joe. The show happens weekly at the Mothership and is co-signed by Rogan himself. And Joe Rogan appears on the show a lot. And so, yeah, of course, it's massive. And now here's a few more times where he completely bombed.
Yeah, they said we can get them red, but they said we can't make them work. This is still your home club, you know.
He's trying to incubus us right now.
Incubus and me, mother.
If I could remember one of their songs, I would have the best reference right now. They sound like?
Incubus?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to it later. We'll get to that reference later.
Fuck, I can't remember an Incubus song.
I do.
Oh yeah.
That's how I got him because I would flirt with Tony.
That's how you get everything. That's how you get everything with me. Yep.
You've never from a restaurant?
He goes.
I got stabbed in Afghanistan.
Guys, great laughs. I'm an American hero, though. So.
Yeah.
No, have your chuckles. Life's different because I fought for your freedom.
Wait a minute, you were in.
Oh, it's a little stain from my blood for your freedom.
You were in the military and you went to Afghanistan to fight.
And so there you can see how Tony doesn't come across as one of the best roasters at the moment on that episode. And, you know, to be fair, maybe he was off that night. It could happen. It definitely happens. Or maybe it could be that his ego has gotten way too big to the point that no one can actually tell him anything because maybe now he's going through what Brendan Schaub went through back then. And so it might be time for other comics, his own friends, to come out and call him out and make fun of him in hopes that he realizes that he's completely out of control to the point that he showed up to a show wasted. I mean, everyone calls out and makes fun of Bert Kreischer for doing way less than what Tony did. And so, you know, it's only fair. But right now at this moment, it seems like no one is willing to make fun of Tony because, you know, at some point they want to get on Kill Tony again or get on Joe Rogan's podcast, except for one person.
Over St. Anthony's Greek Orthodox in Florence, Arizona. Oh yeah, that's where a freaky old man should go. Arizona.
Yeah. That's actually
Arizona's
where they go.
Nothing but leathery.
Oh my God.
70-year-olds sucking and f***ing.
Yeah.
I bet you this priest now has a f***ing nipple rings.
Oh yeah.
He's f***ing awesome, dude.
Damn, listen to this. The family of a young man who lived there and committed suicide in 2012 contends the death was the result of 6 years of physical and psychological abuse at the monastery.
That's the monastery he's going to?
I guarantee you, dude, if you look to this even further, he probably did kill Tony in like 2014.
What do you call a black guy? What do you call a black doctor? Nothing. There are no black doctors. Ah! The Kill Tony Mongoloids are like, yeah! Yeah! Say the N-word! You son of a bitch, that was incredible. Have you ever gotten pussy from a bitch that had banana bread in her? As a matter of fact, Tony, you f***ing I have. Oh! Red band's like, that would kill, dude. A Greek priest that God put, dude. If this guy could kill Tony now, he would be a hero, and I would demand to be on the If what's his name again, Elders? Oh,
you just know when you watch Kill Tony,
We
you
gotta
see a guy
find him,
come out
dude.
there with no legs and Down syndrome. You're like, that guy's getting a golden ticket.
Now, this is very interesting because when it comes to Stavros making fun of Tony, I feel like it hits way different than any other comedian doing the same because, you know, Stavros is not coming from a place of hate or jealousy, and he's simply actually making fun of Tony, which doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often. And, you know, the joke was pretty good because it's a little bit true. I've seen Tony live, and although the show was good, you know, there were a few fights around me. At some point, I was like, what's going on? Is this a comedy show or a rally? And because there was a bunch of people fighting, a lot of drinks were spilled, and I ended up eating when I was going to the restroom. The show was fine again, but the point is that the audience can get a little bit too excited. But anyways, back to Stavros. Now, there's absolutely no chance that Tony actually responds or that it becomes a thing, a back and forth, because, you know, to be honest, I think it would be one-sided in favor of Stavros because, for example, when it comes to comedy specials, Stavros actually has two successful comedy specials, one on Netflix and one on YouTube. So no excuse. But when it comes to Tony, well, you know, I don't think he feels proud about his last comedy special. But yeah, once again, watching Tony bomb was absolutely insane. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Dislike if you didn't like the video. But that is all we have for today. See ya.
I was talking
I
about
agree.
it
I've
on
never-
the podcast, and Tony Hinchcliffe was like, I'm going to set you up with my tea guy. I was like, it's okay, Tony. I'm not taking your testosterone. Close your eyes and open your mouth. I'm going to give it to you.
What?